You are correct, Carl, with your timing. They are lagging on table one, so it's time to hand over to the capable hands, the capable voices of Jeremy Jones and first Michael Macmillan. He'll be with you shortly.
Yeah, thanks very much to Phil and Carl. It isn't actually going to be Jeremy. He's feeling a little unwell, so he's gone back to the hotel. But if you can't have one Mosconi Cup captain, get the other one in. So Ralph Eckert is going to be alongside me for a real treat here to round off our main table action on this Friday in Hanoi. And as Phil was reminding you there, this is a rerun of last year's World Championship final. It's Albin Ouschan against Shane van Boening. Ouschan from Austria, 33 years of age, has started us off. Ralph, great to have your company. I know you're a busy man these days with the Mosconi only a matter of weeks away. What have you seen around the tables today that's particularly caught your eye?
Oh, in particular, it was the match between Sanjin and Alexa, right? It was so sad that they had actually to play it against each other, and but it was interesting. I mean, that's what you see nowadays, right? You have drama in a good and in a bad way sometimes in tournaments like that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's sad they had to play each other because, of course, they're such great pals. Pelovanovic beat Pechelj by 10 racks to 8.
So he escaped here, but no resave. But let's see what Albin can make out of that. One of them will make it to the final 16 tomorrow, right? But he can create a safety here, I guess. It's just a follow shot, like follow into the 9, or he's aiming low. He got something else, some other idea maybe. It's interesting. He's probably trying to cut it in the side pocket, is he?
Well, that was exactly what he was attempting, but not what he did.
He tried. I was wondering that he tried it, but now I see there was, from the position he got, there was a pretty good potential combination here from the 3 into the 6. But anyhow, it didn't work out. Let's see, what does he left for Shane?
Shane van Boening, who's now 40 years of age, number 2 in the world rankings, behind Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
He had a nice shot into the side pocket, but the key is how to get back down near the 3 ball, because from the side where the cue ball goes naturally, he cannot make this combination, can he? So I wonder if he's attempting the combination from that kind of an angle. Maybe he's looking more like for safety or so. Here you see how thin of a cut it must be to make the 6. I doubt it.
Could so easily not even have made the single elimination stage. After winning his first match against Lee Kun Fang, he was beaten 9-8 by Kyle Amoroto in winners qualification. He had a bye earlier in the tournament, so only had to play one match to get to winners qualifying, and that sent him over to the loser's side, where he was almost beaten by Marvin Assis, but got through that one 9-8, and he's already played one match today in the last 64, beating Michael Baunan of the Philippines 10-6.
Yeah, and he played a very beautiful safety here on Albin. I mean, especially out of the position where he was. And now, yeah, there's no direct pass. And even the curve is a little bit blocked. So he has to take a closer look at that. So if he got problems to see that shot, I don't need to attempt that. Okay, here he is pointing at a spot. Maybe he can reach that spot on the rail he was just pointing at. And a little curve around the 4. Between 4 and 9 on that spot he showed us. To hit the 3 ball maybe thin for a resave. Right? Oh, nice. Nice.
That was so hard to do, wasn't it? And he's done it very well.
Absolutely. Albin Ouschan from Austria.
Yeah.
2 times world champion.
2 times, and was looking to equal the record of 3 last year, but it was Shane van Boening who stopped him in the final. Even by getting there, though, he'd become the first player ever to get to the final of the World Championship on 4 separate occasions. I think the fact that nobody had ever done that before just underlines what a hard and competitive tournament that is to make your way through.
Yes, that makes this sport so hard. You have a very big group of players who are able to win it, right?
Yeah, not only that, even if there are guys who might not be good enough to win the tournament, there are so many who are capable on their day of beating even the very best players.
Mm-hmm.
Saw that with Van Boening, losing to young Amoroto. Think of Albin Ouschan, some of the defeats he's had in recent times, like against Phil Wildman at the UK Open. So it's so competitive, and there's so much depth in the game that to achieve sustained success, like these two have over the years, is really, really difficult.
Absolutely. And now here's a jump shot from Albin. He's pretty good in jump shots.
Wow. He played that one well, and look where he is on the 4. That's one of the best shots we've seen all day.
He was putting a little bit draw also into it for positioning on the 4. That's exceptionally well.
Not been a great year by Albin Ouschan standards, but that's the sort of shot that'll help as you look to rebuild your confidence.
Sometimes after such a beautiful shot, the next shot is also a little bit difficult, even though it looks more easy, right? You see that so often, right? When someone pulls out a very magical shot and after that he's missing a fairly easy one, right? But not for Albin, of course. It shouldn't happen to a 2 times world champion. And now he has a very nice layout with the 6 ball, probably following high right to rails. From there he is falling automatically into position of the 7 ball. On to rails, here we got the 7. Center field position. Nice angle to go to the 3, and that's pretty much promising 1 nail lead for Albin.
Yeah, we mentioned that world final they played last year. They also, of course, had another big final in 2022 in your home country, Ralph, at the inaugural European Open last year. And
oh yeah,
the outcome was reversed. Ouschan, on his 32nd birthday, becoming the first ever European Open champion. Were you there?
I couldn't. I was there this year, but not last year, no. So I had a training camp in Hungary, and here we go.
Yeah, pretty good reason to miss the tournament. Well, Albin Ouschan has won an interesting opening rack. He leads Shane van Boening 1-0. So let's look at the other scores then. Sanjin Pelovanovic is 7-2 up now on Naoki Oi. That would be a great win for Pelovanovic if he can finish it off, and it would take him through to play Francisco Sanchez Ruiz in the last 16. Close going between Alex Kazakis and Jeffrey Ignacio. That one is 6-all. Ko Ping Chung, the US Open champion, weekend before last, 8-3 up now on Francesco Candela of Italy. Max Lechner of Austria, US Open runner-up last year, leads Jonas Suto Camino 7-6. And Lucius Jaap now leading 7-4 against Niels Feijen in that match we were looking in on a few minutes ago. And Kyle Amoroto, who sent Shane Van Boening to the one-loss side, is in a 7-3 lead over the American Oscar Dominguez. We spoke at the US Open, Ralph. You came into the commentary box then and you were telling me about your preparations for the Mosconi. So what have you been doing the last couple of weeks? Have you been in touch with many of the players?
Let's say I'm in touch more online, right, to keep an eye on them, how they are going to perform. But I don't worry too much about already confirmed players. I always have to watch all the other players, right, who are I have to pick one sooner or later.
At the moment, Jason Shaw is very well placed to claim the third automatic spot on your team. I'm not asking you to give any names away, but if that does indeed turn out to be the case, as it may not, because there are others who can overtake him, would you feel that you would know now who the other two would be, or is it still going to take a lot of thinking?
I got a few names in my box, of course, right, but I still don't want to open this box so far.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not asking you for names, but I'm just asking how close you are to knowing who the captain's picks would be if the top three at the moment stays. They are
very close, but I still have to wait the outcome from that tournament. Just for example, Albin Ouschan, who is now like, I don't know, 17 or something in the ranking, and but if he wins it, he makes a huge jump.
Well, everything changes then, doesn't it? But it's interesting because I was talking to someone else about this earlier, and most of the time I think if you know who the three are, you can pretty much guess who the other two are going to be. But we couldn't decide. We couldn't decide what's the obvious two, because there is no obvious two.
Mm-hmm.
Albin Ouschan off and running again here in the second rack. He's number 8 in the world rankings, down from number 4 at the start of the year. But on the one-year rankings, which I think is what you were alluding to there, which is basically the ranking points that have been earned so far in 2023, he's down at number 24. Now that includes all the players from all around the world, and it's that list that the Mosconi places are based on. And in terms of Europeans on that list, he's some way out of the top 3 at the moment. In fact, he has to win the tournament to have any chance of claiming an automatic spot.
Yes, you're right. It's the regular World Nineball rankings is different to the Mosconi Cup ranking, right? Which the regular one is the last 2 years, taking everything into account, and Mosconi Cup ranking is only for the last year. So
and that position of number 8 that Ouschan is in at the moment on the world rankings, that's largely based on what he did in 2022, getting to that world final, winning that European Open. So he's going to need a vastly improved year in 24 when those points start coming off if he's to maintain a high position in the rankings. Anyway, he's going the right way about things here, and he's 3 balls away from an early 2-0 lead.
In my opinion, they have a pretty similar style, very composed players, very concentrated, very silent, so very interesting to watch those players.
Yeah, and I never feel either of them gets caught up in the moment or maybe the noise of the crowd or whatever, which can be difficult to put out of your thoughts, but they seem to be able to function without that playing on their minds at all.
It's a little bit out of position here. He made this 8-ball a little bit more difficult than necessary, but high left, and he can easily pass the side pocket after 2 rails, coming back for a nice position on the... He's playing it even more softly to get only this position here.
Nice start then for Albin Ouschan. He leads Shane Van Boening by 2 racks to 0. 10 required to make it through to the last 16. Ouschan didn't have to go to the loser's side, but he had a couple of very close matches early on. Like Van Boening, he had a walkover for his first match, but then only just got through against the relatively unknown Darren Young of Singapore, 9-8. And then Antonius Kakaris of Greece pushed him all the way to 9-7 in winner's qualification. As we look once again at the key moments of that second rack. Earlier today he played a very experienced British player, Chris Melling, and beat him by 10 racks to 5, which is why he's here this evening, looking for a place in the last 16. Just some of the matches in the last 16 that we already know the lineup for. Michael Feliciano against Adma Taufik. Jason Shaw against the consistently improving Dutch player Jan van Lierop. We've got Lee van Corteza against David O'Cady. And the only other matchup that we know for sure is a real belter. Ko Pin Yi against Fedor Gorst. They will meet in the last 16 tomorrow. Albin Ouschan looking to get to 10 to move into the last 16, and he leads 2-0.
Here he got the break, he got the 1 ball, but lost a little bit the cue ball. It was a pretty thin hit on that rack, so the cue ball stayed in the lower part of the table, while the 2 ball is going upwards the table. So I guess it wasn't the outcome he was wishing for, but let's see the review of that break. Referee is taking care to operate the magic rack out of the way here.
When we talk about focus and concentration for the likes of Ouschan and Van Boening, the referees really needed to bring it to bear here. You could very easily get this wrong. Move something and forget to replace it. We've seen that happen.
So here we see the repeat. You see the 2 ball is on the upper part of the rack placed randomly, but when you see the 2 balls sitting there, usually you try to keep the cue ball near the center or bring it also down the table, because you can expect the 2 ball going up the table. So
I mentioned he's been in 4 World Nineball finals. First of those was all the way back in 2014. He gave Niels Fine a good run for his money. Eventually went down 13-10. Had a brilliant year in 2015 off the back of that. And then the year following that, in 16, won the World Championship for the first time. A tough run to it as well. Jason Shaw in the quarters, Alex Pagulayan in the semis, and then Van Boening in the final.
it takes a long thought about how to push this ball. I mean, normally it's not. You play it normally a push like kind of sloppy, right? If you are in the mid-ranked or so. But if you are on a top level like those two, you are really afraid. You really think about what can I leave my opponent, and if he's giving back to me, what kind of idea I can have here. So he's leaving a long 2 ball while he was sending the 3 ball near the cluster and create some difficulty. So, and Shane is thinking about, should I go for that? Should I give it back? But so you can bet that Nineball players are very good decision makers.
Certainly the likes of these two.
Nineball players constantly have to make decisions. Okay, nice, long, almost straight shot here. Just a little angle. Oh, looks like there was no angle at all, right? What a nice stop shot, but what can he do out of that? So he's looking for a safety, obviously.
The final automatic place on the American team for the Mosconi Cup will be confirmed at the end of this tournament. It's almost certainly going to be Shane Van Boening. Even if it isn't, there is 0% chance of him not getting a captain's pick. And by being in the team again in December, it'll be a 17th time in a row. And he'll actually equal the record of Johnny Archer and Ralph Souquet for the most Mosconis played in.
He's hitting it on the right from his point of view, trying to hide it, maybe the 3 ball behind the 8, while he's going for this combination. That's nice. I didn't saw that one, and I should.
So many players, Ralph, even pretty good ones, would have made the combination and then lost position, not come far enough across the table. But Van Boening with shots like that, the pinpoint accuracy required is so reliable.
Okay, now he's in good position. to get a natural soft shot on the 5 for position on the 6. So now we know why Albin was taking so much time to think where he can push it, because that's the danger. He really can make something out of anything you push him. Little funny angle here. But still not in danger. Nice draw shot to the long rail. Getting it back near the center. Here more natural roll.
Yeah, there was a bit of work to do here. This wasn't straightforward, but he's sorted it all out. As a
Nicely
result,
done.
yep, he's going to get his first rack on the board. Shane van Boening back to 2-1 against Albin Ouschan. Sanjin Pelovanovic continuing to inch towards a potential last 16 showdown with Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Pelovanovic now leading Naoki Oi by 8 racks to 4. Alexander Kazakis, very experienced Greek player, just ahead of Jeffrey Ignacio at 7-6. Ko Ping Chung is now on the hill. The US Open champion leads Francesco Candela 9-4. Max Lechner one away from the hill, 8-7 against Honasuto Camino. Lucius Yap looking for one more to overcome Niels Fyen. It's 9-5 in that one. The winner will take on Kyle Amoroto in the last 16. You can see all the scores going through. I think the junior play is finished for today, but we'll have a close eye on that tomorrow, the Hanoi Junior Open. Did you see any of the youngsters playing today?
Well, I saw one time how a young player was celebrating his win, and this was really cute to see.
What was he
because
doing?
he was so small and jumping around the table for winning. So really, you could really see the joy over here. And here you see his break, nice control over the 1 ball. And yeah, a little unlucky with the outcome from the 2 ball. But I'm sure he got a nice idea here.
You're well known for your instructional abilities and coaching, Ralph, and if there was anything you could tell Shane van Boening about his breaking, because we know it's so good, he's one of the great breakers, is there anything at all you could say to him to make it even better?
I guess not. He's really perfect on it. I mean, he's going to figure out every kind of break so far. And but let me watch a few more breaks from him. Maybe I can see something.
I know when he won that world title last year, his breaking was so key to it. He just seemed to play that shot better and better as the week went on in Milton Keynes. It worked out really well for him that the Premier League was played in the same venue, in fact, just a few weeks before that, because there isn't as much jeopardy there. You can lose matches and a number of them and stay in the tournament. And he used that opportunity to try out some new things with his break. He was breaking so impressively there, and then carried that forward to the Worlds about 6 weeks later.
Yeah, this was a two-way shot, trying to make the bank and parking the cue ball down to the other end of the table for positioning, which didn't work so much for positioning on the 3 ball in case the 2 ball goes, and in case of missing it, you get the safety here. So this looks like a jump shot to me, obviously, and he can aim at it. I mean, I don't know how big his percentage is, but when you remember his last jump shot, then you know how accurate it is. How accurate he can be on this kind of jump shot. Let's have a look. Close, nice try, and oh, He left like a combination here, but the Nineball is a little bit in its way, so I wonder if he's trying to curve around this Nineball or also going for a jump here. From here it looks even more promising for a direct hit, but no, he's going to grab his jump cue. And he got a pretty good chance on this combination here. That's two, three combination jump, and he made it. That was good, but he needed a little bit of a draw, right, to keep the position on the 2. Or maybe a little bit more lucky to hit it with a different angle so that the 2 ball comes out a little bit more, but well, it's just nice to make it, right?
It is, and it's amazing actually. I don't know about you, but I thought he made that look very easy. Now we know how hard that is to do, but you wouldn't know it from the way he played it. So casually and as if it's everyday business, which I guess for him it is. It's so hard to get that right.
He's trying to park the cue ball, sending, yeah, just the short version behind the 4 ball. He could have gone also a little bit harder and tried to bring the cue ball all the way down to the other end of the table, but so let's see the options from Albin when we get a full table view. So there's also a 2-rail kick he's aiming at. I mean, it's close to the short rail, could be also 1 rail, but it looks like 2 rails, maybe hitting it thin so the 2 ball stays near the 4 ball and sending the cue ball down the table. 1, 2, hitting it thin, keeping it near the 4 and sending the cue ball down the table. It's nice how they see it and how accurate they execute it. I mean, quite a few players can see it, but not everyone can execute it that well. That's World Championship level here.
The longevity of Shane Van Boening at the top of the game is remarkable, you know. I said he's 40 now, reached that milestone in July, but he won his first US Open when he was only 24. Got to number 5 in 2016, tying the record with Earl Strickland. He beat Chang Young Lin in that final, who knocked him out in the last 64 of the US Open this time.
Okay, Shane has to... hard to predict. But he was basically banking the 2 ball towards the 5 to let it stay where it is and bring the cue ball downwards. That's also nicely executed here. And a shot not everyone could see or plan before. So this is temptive to cut, temptive to bank, but he's going for a safety, probably the cue ball behind the 6 ball, which didn't work that well. Now it's tempting for Shane if he should go for it or play a safety by himself. Let's have a look. Okay, here we see it. Well, if he hits it on the right side, then it's hard to keep it near those 5 and 7 balls. So he's attempting it and making it. And the position didn't work that well. But it was a nice shot anyway. A good hit.
Yeah, there's just no fear on the big shots from Van Boening ever. If there's a tough shot to take on, he'll back himself for it.
I wonder if he's going to roll it in and go for a harder position on the 5. A longer one. Or if he's going... Yeah, he's going for the longer position. I guess with a bank shot he could have kept it in a better position, but this is high risky, especially on those small pockets. A little bit of stun draw. Oh, he didn't want it to go into the 9 certainly. But he got the angle he wanted, just not this far.
Yeah, for things we thought might have gone wrong there, I'm not sure that was on the list. He's still okay to get through to the 6. It just became that bit more difficult though, didn't it? And that was why he missed it with the pace.
I wonder that he played it low left for a little draw position. That natural follow, he could have get also position, but that's personal choice. Some players prefer it that way, some players the other way. But he didn't left too much, did he? I guess for a bank shot, no, bank shot is not on. I guess the 9-ball is in the way. And safety is not that easy. Maybe he's trying to go, hit it very thin on the right side. Short rail, long rail, lots of right side spin, getting it over the second short rail behind the 7 or 8. But the risk is that the 6-ball will move, yeah, most likely towards the other corner. Here it is, short rail, long rail, another short rail behind the 7 or 8. No. Nice try though. And only a few centimeters more and he could have had a nice safety behind the 8. So difficult shot, nicely made. Good shape on the 7. So this could be a 2-2 in our set, in our race to 10.
Yeah, Albin Ouschan got off to a very nice start. Shane Van Boening stuck to his task very nicely. Had to do a lot of work to carve out the 3rd rack. It's been quite similar here. In the end, his patience is rewarded, and having been 2-0 down, Van Boening draws level at 2 each. Now, never write off Niels Feijen. He was 9-5 down to Lucius Yap, 1 away from going out of the Hanoi Open. Now it's back to 9-8.
Wow, that's impressive.
Ko Ping Chung still looking for one more, leads Francesco Candela 9-4. Honasuto Camino and Max Lechner. That was the sort of match you looked at and thought, that could be really close. Well, that's how it's turning out. It's 8-all. Alexander Kazakis is now on the hill at 9-6 against Jeffrey Ignacio. Sanjin Pelovanovic, well, still has the upper hand against Naoki Oi, but it's 8-6 there, so that one is still in the balance. Winner of that will play the world champion Francisco Sanchez Ruiz in the last 16 tomorrow. It's even more in the balance now, because while I was talking, Naoki Oi won the 15th rack, so he's back to 8-7 behind. Early stages of this one, though, it's 2-all.
Let's watch his break. He got the 1 ball again, and the cue ball down in the head field again. At the 7 ball, blocking the way to the 2 ball. You see, and where the 2 ball was positioned at the corner, it's always hard to predict where the outcome will be of the 2 ball. So hard to make a decision where to maneuver the cue ball. So he's giving a push for Albin, and he offers a very difficult long shot on the 2, while the 3 ball is on the other end of the table. So this is not a high percentage shot, even on world class.
As I was saying, you're renowned for coaching and teaching, Ralph. Do you teach players about the psychology of the push out and how to use it to your advantage?
Sure. In some cases I do. You have to be an ice cold calculator and measuring your chances on every shot. And if you think you got less than 50%, let's have a look how the other ones is taking care of it. But it's a different thing if you have to push, right, to find the right spot for your opponent. And you can be so creative on that. It's unbelievable, the many choices you have. But it's a very fair rule, isn't it? Many years ago there wasn't this rule, and then you have to just take it where it is. So there was a lot of luck involved, and here at least you still can have a little bit of control here. I doubt he's going for it, is he? Maybe he can cut it a little bit on the right side so that the cue ball goes between the 8 and 9, but then he might run into the 6 ball, so that's very hard to calculate. And he needed additionally also a lot of right side spin, so that's also not a good solution. So he might roll it in, try to roll it in, and play the safety mafety after that with a 3 ball. No, hitting it on the other side, and this didn't work out very well.
Such a perfectionist, Shane van Boening. Well, they both are, really. You can see how disgusted he is with that. They both set such high standards for themselves. They feel they should play every shot right, which of course just isn't possible. And they give themselves such a hard time out there when things don't go entirely to plan.
Oh, we don't see this technique very often nowadays.
It's what Efren used to do a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah. So looks like there's not much space for the 2 ball passing the 6 into the pocket. And he's really going for playing it from behind the bag. Even powerful withdraw, nice position on the 3. I love it, I love it.
We're only in the 5th rack, but he's already produced at least 2 shots in this match, which would have to be in any compilation of the most eye-catching shots of the tournament. That one specifically for the manner in which he played it, but he also executed it very well.
Absolutely. We might see in the future those 2 shots on social media very often now.
Everything's on social media now, Ralph, so they tell me.
Okay, now he's in first class position to clear the rest of the rack. But we know, even though everything looks obvious, it's never that easy. You still have to keep your concentration, because if you just lose your focus for a moment, you can make easily a mistake, especially on those tight pockets. So let's see if he can keep the control here till the end, taking back the lead. Maybe after the 6th ball there's a little challenge to go to the 7. So if everything looks obvious, sometimes the player looks for the last chance. Where can I still make a mistake? And then sometimes very successful they find this position.
There was a time over the last couple of years when I think Ouschan had a pretty strong claim for being the best player in the world. He emerged from the excesses and the worst times of the lockdown period stronger than anyone. He won the Championship League, which was the first matchroom individual event after we started resuming pool again, and then that led on to winning the World Championship, beat Omar Al Shaheen in the final with a strong finish soon after that. Won a big tournament in America later that year, had a very good 22 as well. So we've gone a bit off the boil over the last 12 months or so.
Well, he had opportunities still to keeping practicing during the pandemic, and now he's pretty angry because he made that mistake. The last chance to make a mistake was here, going from the 6 to the 7. And now he's blocked by the 9-ball. But with his jump shot abilities, it might be a ball in hand position for him.
Yeah, it's a real indicator of his game, actually. If he's jumping well, he's generally doing most things well. As you said earlier, it is a big strength of his game, and one that he's always happy to bring into play.
Of course. Sometimes when you have it in your mind, right, everything is clear, everything is nice, you think, okay, everything can happen, but not the cue ball behind the 9. And when you have this picture in mind, your whole body coordination tries to make that picture become true. It's a little trap sometimes. Even good players can be trapped. But anyhow, let's see the jump here. Missed that one. Look at the 7-ball in front of the pocket, or will it passes the pocket, right?
Well, we'll see in just a moment.
Difficult shot probably for Shane, is it?
It looks from there like it's just crept past, but we'll see once we return to the main angle.
Yes, he has a shot. Oh, he might have a shot here, thin cut. Lots of right side spin to go over there. Way too hard though. Or did he really like it to get the cue ball over there for the 8 inside?
Either way, that's what he's going to have to play now. This is a tough one. Should be on the 9 if he gets it, although maybe from some distance. So, could still be a lot to happen, even though there are only 2 balls left on the table.
By the way, did they told you when we speak about the pandemic why it is so, this 9-ball game became so popular here in Vietnam over the past 2 or 3 years?
What, was this related to COVID?
Yes.
Oh, tell me.
Let's see, after that shot. Ooh. Nicely done. Yeah, everything was closed here in Vietnam, but the pool halls were allowed to be stayed open.
Okay.
So everyone was normally they do something else, but everyone was meeting in the pool hall. That was.
I wonder why the pool halls were allowed to stay open. It seems like a strange thing to pick to exempt from the rules.
But if you take it, because of the table size, you always keep the distance.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
1.50 meters.
Well, we've seen it in evidence this week with the sheer number of Vietnamese players who've come into the tournament and performed well. 6 of them made the final 64, although they were all beaten earlier today at that stage. Shane Van Boening was 2-0 down early on against Albin Ouschan, and despite that one memorable moment we had with the behind-the-body shot from Ouschan, Van Boening has completed his hat-trick of racks and now leads for the first time at 3-2. So let's see what's going on elsewhere. And they're still playing that 18th rack between Aloysius Yap and Niels Fyen, who's come charging back. Yap leading 9-8 there. Max Lechner is now on the hill at 9-8 against Honus Suto Camino. Ko Ping Chung is no longer on the hill though. He's into the final 16, looking for back-to-back Matchroom Open titles. Beat Francesco Candela 10-4. Alex Kazakis, another winner, 10-6 against Jeffrey Ignacio. And will now play the winner of this. And the one other match to tell you about, Sanyan Pelovanovic now leading Naoki Oi 8-7.
We just missed a very nice break here from Shane. Look at that. 1 ball, additional 5, and a nice position on the 2 ball.
You know, this is so reminiscent, Ralph, of that time I was talking about in the spring of 2022 when he was doing that wonderful breaking, particularly at the World Championship. It wasn't just that he was making a ball off the break every time. He was regularly making 2, 3, sometimes 4. So with him, it's always a barometer of how well that powerful break is working.
Well, you certainly can't win events like that with a good working break here. So this was very well, but a long way now for the cue ball, going down to the 3 ball. But he managed that also very well. Not too much speed, just enough to get the position he wanted. And maybe high right or low left to go for the 4 ball. High right in this case for Shane.
Yeah, it's not been a great year, you have to say, by his standards. He did win a world ranking tournament in Iowa back in the summer, the week he turned 40 actually. Well, that was of a much lower level really, but still a decent field. But when it's come to the very biggest events, World Championship defence ended in the last 16. He was poor in the Premier League, finished 8th there. Did win a match at the World Masters, then lost his 2nd. But then UK Open last 32. Spanish Open last 32, surprisingly beaten by Japan in the 2nd round of the World Cup with the USA. Last 64th, the US Open. Really, the only deep run, I think by his standards you would say, in one of the big Matchroom events this year was in your home country, Ralph, when he got to the semi-finals of the European and was beaten there by the eventual winner, David Al-Qaedi. But I think it's not been a case of him playing badly. So many of those defeats I'm talking about have been against very good players who hit very, very strong form on the day. I think his overall form in 23 has been a good deal better than his results would indicate.
Well, we mentioned it before, right? We have a pretty big group of players who are capable to win a tournament like that. I don't know how big is the group in other sports, like in golf, for example. How many players out of a field of 200 or so can win the tournament?
Golf is probably the only sport that's really comparable in terms of the depth within the field and the number of players who could win. But you look at the big tennis events, for 20 years it's nearly all of them going to the same 3 players, and pool is very, very different to that. There was a time, and there have been periods, where there was a small group that was sharing them around. These two were in that a couple of years ago, but that never lasts very long before they start sharing them out again. Shane Van Boening, 3 balls down off the break. Didn't have much left to do. He saw it out well, and he's won 4 racks in a row for 4-2. You mentioned golf there, Ralph, and I know you're not a particularly big golf man, but did you look at the Ryder Cup at all? Because you being the Mosconi captain, did you feel there might be anything you could learn from it, or was it something you weren't watching?
Sorry, I'm not big into golf, so you have to tell me more details about the Ryder Cup.
Well, I was thinking, because it's exactly the same as the Mosconi Cup. It's Europe versus USA, and I was just wondering if maybe it was something you kept an eye on to.
So the Ryder Cup is pretty much the same like the Mosconi Cup, just with smaller pockets, right?
Well,
and a bigger table.
Well, no, actually bigger. The golf holes are bigger now than the pockets on a pool table.
Right.
Now that the pool pockets are tighter, they're 4 inches. Golf is slightly bigger than that.
Okay, we got still 2 matches going on here.
Yeah, we are getting towards the end of today's play. I can tell you Lucius Yap is through. Niels Fine made a great comeback. Got it back to 9-8 down in that match, having been much further behind. And he had a chance to go 9-all. And then he missed the 8 ball. Yap potted the 8 and then banked the 9 to complete a 10-8 win. So he'll play Kyle Amoroto in the last 16 tomorrow. Max Lechner, US Open runner-up last year, has just won as well, 10-8 over Honosuto Kamino. Lechner will play Ko Ping Chung, the US Open winner, for a place in the quarterfinals.
And Shane was missing just by a hair to pot the 1 or the 4 ball on the break. So he's leaving a shot for Albin. With the 1 ball, he has to check that. If the 1 ball, if he can make it into the side pocket. It's pretty much frozen to the 7. Pretty hard to judge, but it looks pretty promising from my point of view. And in case he can make it from there, then the position on the 2 ball, 2-4 combination is easy. So all he has to take care is to, can he make this 1 ball inside? Here we got the situation. And he still got his doubts. Even though it's frozen, sometimes you still have the option. I mean, with this kind of angle, it's like a natural kiss shot into it. You can maybe make a stop shot into the 1. Oh, he tried it and miscalculated it. I don't know if he's getting away with it, but he left a difficult shot for Shane. Thin cut on the 1 or a bank. Is not available when I see the 5 ball over there, so it's a thin cut on the 1 and bringing the cue ball well into this position. As long as the 4 ball is sitting in the corner, it's a pretty promising shot, even though the 2 alone would be a little bit more difficult. But he can roll it in softly to leave the 2 ball near the corner, just like that. It's pretty deep into pocket, so it's hard to bring the cue ball back near the 3. Easy, of course, to get a position on the 3 for a long version shot on the 3, but you want to have it closer, especially of these kind of small pockets. Just can imagine if he puts a lot of left side spin on the cue ball. He still needs kind of a stun a little. Oh, he's drawing it, that's nice. Actually the best version. Many people wouldn't go for that, but I think the draw is the best what he could do here.
You've got to play it really, really well, though, haven't you? You've got to strike it so purely for that to work out, and he's played it about as nicely as he could have done.
Yeah, but if you cut it, bring the cue ball into the long rail, and you can misjudge it a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you can do it that way, go for it.
Let's see, after the 3 and 5, there looks a promising 6-9 combination.
Yeah, the last rack didn't take very long because he had 3 balls down off the break. This one could be pretty swift as well.
If he gets near the center with the cue ball, should be sufficient. A little long, still a little long combination. But he is in big favor to make it, nevertheless.
This for 5 racks in a row. Dry break, no problem. Finishes the rack with a 6-9 combination from distance, and Shane Van Boening is already halfway to victory in this match. He leads Albin Ouschan by 5 racks to 2. So this is now the only match still going on today, because Sanjin Pelovanovic has finished it out against Naoki Oi. He's won by 10 racks to 7. I know a number of people were fancying Oi to do really well here. He was Jeremy's pick for the title, but he's out. Sanjin Pelovanovic is through, and he will play Francisco Sanchez Ruiz for a place in the quarterfinals.
Maybe later on we can have a look how the pairings are for tomorrow. Right?
Well, we can do it right now. So FSR against Pelovanovic, Michael Feliciano against Ahmad Tawfiq from Brunei, Jason Shaw against Jan van Lierop, Ko Pinyi against Fedor Gorst. That's got to be the standout match of the round, isn't it? Livan Corteza from the Philippines. He's been playing his way nicely back into form in recent months. Plays David Al-Qaidi, still on high, I'm sure, after his European Open success a couple of months back. Alex Kazakis plays the winner of this. And of course, Kazakis and Van Boening have all sorts of history in various tournaments over the years. Ko Ping Chung against Max Lechner, and Aloysius Yap will play Kyle Amoroso. 15 places filled then in the weekend's play. One more up for grabs. It's going to go to one of these two, and at the moment, it's looking very good for Van Boening.
So he was successful again on the 1 ball. That's the standard ball in this break format. That's the ball you have to look for. That's the ball you have to find the touch for. And yeah, you make a cut break, sending the cue ball near the middle diamond, and with the right speed, you get this 1 ball always in direction of the side pocket. And if you don't get it, then you have to observe very well if it was ending up too high or too low, so that you can make little adjustments so that your chances to make it successful the next break will rise. So he was playing, it was a push shot, wasn't it? So it's his decision now. Let's see what he got. Not much of an offensive shot possibility here. So he give it back to him. But he's an expert in creating nice safeties out of situations like that.
Got to be feeling good here. He knows he's up against an old rival who he's shared many memorable matches with over the years, and I'm sure he was expecting a close run thing. It may well be, but at the moment he's absolutely controlling proceedings here in Hanoi.
Well, that's nice. With a little help of the 5, he was able to bring that ball near the 9 ball. I wonder if there's some combination left, even though he has to kick at it.
I talked about Van Boening and the fact that it hasn't been a great year for him. It's been a very disappointing one for Ouschan, and you look at the big Open events, went out early at the UK Open, last 16 of the Spanish, but last 32 of the European, last 64 of the US Open. This isn't what we're used to seeing from him in the last few years. Even the World Championship where he got to the quarters, big disappointment that he lost to Sufi when it looked as though he had a great chance of maybe winning it for that record equaling 3rd time. Lost his opening match in the World Masters, very poor in the Premier League, and in the World Cup of Pool, not surprisingly given his record in that was the only real bright spot of the year, where he and Mario He got within 1 rack of a place in the final, but they almost went out in the first round there to Australia. Saw off them, then Bosnia-Herzegovina, then Britain, and then 9-8 against Philippines in the semis. But in individual events, it really has been such a disappointing year for Albin Ouschan.
Well, as far as I know, he had some personal issues
Yeah.
going on, and so this, of course, can have a negative effect on every top player. But I'm sure he will overcome it sooner or later, and he will be back strong, maybe even stronger than before. He's trying to cut it and leave the 2-ball where it is, moving the Nineball a little bit. You see? I bet he was trying to cut it a little bit more, so the cue ball will travel more downwards the table, and the 2-ball will stay a little bit more where it was. But anyhow, he got a little cover here from the 3-ball, didn't he? Yeah, so there might be a cross bank possibility.
Yeah, that certainly looks to be on, so let's find out. Yeah, that's what he's played, and that's what he's got. You just know with Van Boening, if he attempts a shot like that, that the shot is there. Sometimes you see players talk themselves into trying something a little bit ambitious and the shot isn't really there. You know with him, if he's playing it, it is genuinely possible.
So his years at the Derby City paid off here when you're playing the bank shot discipline
Yeah.
on a regular base. And you feel very confident about bank shots. Okay, he got the control now from this point of view. But when you play the 3-ball, he has to either way inside spin to pass the 7 on the left, or a little bit outside, natural outside, but he's drawing it. So he's going short rail, long rail for position on the 4. Whew, there's a little danger, you know. Now he got a gap between the 9 and the 6, but easily he could have snookered himself behind the 9. Anyhow, he did well, like usually.
Yeah, it's turning into a very accomplished performance, in fact, and this could be half a dozen racks in a row.
Now he has to pull out a very nice, high-quality draw shot for us. We want to see something, right?
He always puts on a great show. Looks like he's preparing for something spectacular.
Well, something straight with a lot of effectiveness, with a nice stroke. That's always a tester.
Yeah, he's
business as usual for Shane, even though he's a little bit closer to the corner pocket than he certainly wanted to.
He makes that look so easy, drawing it back over that kind of distance with such accuracy. But I promise you, if you've never played pool, or even if you've only played it a few times and never attempted a shot like that, go and try it. It's unbelievably hard to get right.
Yeah, it's like mission impossible for a beginner, right?
But just attempting it will show you how hard it really is.
He didn't want it to go into the 7, but not much can happen if it if he does. He has a semi-difficult shot now, but I'm sure he can take care of it by rolling it in naturally high. Either way soft or a little bit more speed like he has chosen here. Here we see in the back Tyler Steyer watching.
Yeah. Hoping to be on the same team as Van Boening in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So impressed with Tyler Steyer yesterday. He won his match to get through to the final 64, and honestly about 2 minutes later he was on the practice table. So impressive to see, and this is mighty impressive too, you know. Shane Van Boening is looking so good. Some really good shots needed in that rack. He's won it. He's won 6 in a row now, and that man is 6-2 behind. I like to hit Jeremy when we're in the commentary together, Ralph, with some questions about pool. They're always related to the match that's going on. So you're a Mosconi captain now, so I've got to hit you with one as well. Of the 16 Mosconi Cups that Shane Van Boening has played in, how many times would you guess he's been on the winning side?
I know 2, but
There aren't many more.
huh?
There aren't many more than those 2 to think of.
So I guess of 3.
3. Incredible. 16 times he's played in the Mosconi Cup. When you think how the Americans used to dominate it, you've got this great player who's played in it 16 times and only won 3 of them. 2 of those he's made the winning point. So often they've been so dependent on him, and I know you wouldn't want to comment on it, but you would have to feel if to have any chance at all, they're going to need a big, big week from him at Alexandra Palace. He's very much their talisman. They would love it if he went to North London playing like this. He's 6-2 up.
And he missed the break here, basically. And he might left not a clear shot, maybe an easy jump shot for Albin, if there isn't a gap. But he was close on a break with the 1 ball. I guess the 1 ball hit just the edge of the side pocket. And here it's a jump shot, which is difficult, but it's a very comfortable jump shot right here for an expert like Albin. Yes. You can really see the angle he's using when jumping it, if he's going for a little bit more of a follow jump or a little bit more of a draw jump, then you need a little bit more elevation when attempting jump shots. I mean, when you have the accuracy, then you take care of details like this.
You were talking about how he was able to continue practicing during COVID. I was saying how he emerged from that period stronger than anyone. Presumably that's because he's got the pool hall in Klagenfurt. The family basically run that, so that's why he had the access that maybe other people didn't.
Oh, his sister has
Yasmin.
Jasmine has a pool academy in Klagenfurt, and this is certainly accessible for him.
Yeah. But presumably it wasn't open to the public at the time, so he had the place to himself, really.
Absolutely. But at least something. I mean, some players were in a misery. They didn't have a chance to practice at all.
Definitely. I was referring actually to that Championship League, the first matchroom individual event after we came out of lockdown that Albin Ouschan won. Yasmin actually came over and played in that as well.
So here's a nice position on the 3, but the 6 ball is blocking a little bit the high right spot of the cue ball, so he cannot get the position he likes to get, you know. Normally it's 2 rails high right on the 3 ball, but the 6 ball is blocking that. And with left side spin you don't want to really attempt that. And if you have to jack up here, then you know you cannot put enough speed on that 3 ball, so that's a tough spot here. Let's see. He has to jump a little bit into the rail. No, he's drawing it. That was nice. That was nice. Well, from that point of view, I couldn't see the angle from the cue.
Yeah.
The viewer in the back looks the same way like Shane does.
Yeah. You have to go some of the matches' intensity. These are just 2 of the most intense figures, not just in pool, but in all of sport. I love watching that, though, and seeing them just putting every last drop of effort and focus and concentration into the match.
So now he has to go full table length for a position from the 5 to the 6. Let's see how he's going to manage that. Can't make a prediction. And now I can follow shot, draw shot. No, there's no draw. Follow it is. But I wonder if it's high left or just high like this. And running into the 6, into the 8, and blocked by it. A little bit unfortunate, but he could have got better position. Wow, he was. Oh, this was. I was really disappointed about that outcome.
Well, what do you think was that? Was that a bit of petulance, a bit of temper, or was he just hoping for the best? What do you think he was trying to do there?
First, he was a little bit angry about himself, about the poor position.
Yeah.
Or unlucky position, I would say so. And the second is, okay, he tried like a hit and hope pretty hard.
Yeah.
And the rails are a little bit bouncy, and he didn't want it that the cue ball is jumping a little bit out of the rail, and so it just happened like that.
And although there may have been a bit of frustration in it, as you say, the hit and hope, it's not a shot that's lacking in validity, because sometimes it's actually your best bet. You can't find a more obvious scientific route, let's say, so you've just got to hit them.
Especially in situations like this, when you have only 3 balls left.
Yeah, exactly.
No big chances to hide the cue ball somewhere, right? And a hit and hope is usually a hard shot, and when you go into the rail, yes, accidentally, if you don't play it very carefully, cue ball can jump a little, and then things like that can happen. But yeah, Shane won't be happy with this position either.
No, definitely not. I think it's still back him to get this all day long, but it's not guaranteed now. And that's written all over his face. Well, obviously it's far from over either way, whatever happens here, but you have to feel there's a big prize on offer here. 7-2. It's hard to see him losing from there. Not impossible, but it would be a huge ask for Ouschan from that distance. He's come with some big, tough shots already in this match. Another one here, and you'll be starting to think he's very close to the last 16.
Cutting it in the left corner. Nicely done in the cue ball. Is it? Okay, it's safe.
Well, we couldn't see, but the crowd told us, didn't they? So 7 racks in a row now against Albin Ouschan. It's been a long time since I can remember anyone doing that. I remember Robbie Capito beat him 9-0 at the UK Open last year. But it's actually turning out now a bit like their World Final last year. Now, that wasn't as much of a landslide as this is turning into, but that was close early on. You thought this is going to be a tight contest, as we see there how close the cue ball came. We thought it was going to be tight all the way to the finish, and then Van Boening just worked his way through rack after rack after rack. Ouschan couldn't find a way back into the match, and before he knew it, he'd been, in the end, quite heavily beaten. It's a bit reminiscent of that. Shane Van Boening, who was 2-0 down, is now leading 7-2. Just to find out a bit more about you, Ralph, with your big week in the Moscone coming up, I think we've established golf isn't your game, but do you follow any other sports, or is it all just about pool with you?
Well, I concentrate only on pool. That's about it. I'm not so much into soccer, football, basketball, or golf. No. Maybe in my early years a little bit I like to watch a little tennis, but I never played it by myself.
A lot of great German stars in that sport over the years. Boris Becker, Steffi Graf, Michael Stick, people like that.
Yes, absolutely. But even more, if you turn the clock back more of the time, then it was watching matches from Björn Borg, John McEnroe, and Jimmy Connors.
Would you believe the first tennis match I ever went to was between John McEnroe and Björn Borg?
Oh, that's nice.
Incredible. They were long retired from the main tour, but they played a sort of Legends exhibition match in my home city at the time, and, well, you couldn't not go to that. The 2 modern-day legends of pool in action here, but only one of them is feeling happy about how things are proceeding.
But they stay calm, composed, and pretty much poker face, because they know how fast such a match can turn around. So they have to keep their focus on. Look at that. Such a strong shot into the side with almost perfect position on the 3. He missed the perfect position just by a few centimeters, and because it's so close, it's already a funny angle, even though the 3 ball is sitting in front of his nose. So that's a very thin angle. It's more safety, kind of a stop shot, hiding the cue ball behind the 9, sending the 3 ball over to the other half of the table, but hopefully not banking it accidentally, right? Which could happen. But this is nice. Nice safety. Hard now for Albin to get a legal shot out of it. Let's see which kicking way he is looking at. Well, there's a long rail, short rail, long rail version, or maybe only 2 rails, or the 1 rail, only the short rail here he's attempting. So he's checking, and here he's checking long rail, short rail. The long rail, short rail has the chance to get a resave, so he's going for that. Because if he shoots it with the right speed, sending the 3 ball back down, he might has a chance for a resave, but the first goal is to avoid the foul. Hitting it pretty thin and leaving a nice position for Shane. Well, he played a good safety.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad luck or anything, but nothing is going Ouschan's way at all, is it? Even there where he managed to make the hit, and he's not just left a chance, but he's left a nice chance, really.
Okay, he could just have a little angle, but the same angle just on the other side would be perfect for him to get position on the 4. But with this angle here, you see where he's aiming at. That's the position he can get, and that's not too much. Let's see if he's... Well, too much quality in the draw will end up in a draw into the corner pocket, right? Stun draw into the long rail, and obviously some left side spin only. Oh, he's avoiding the long rail, kicking at the 4. Oh, he can make a nice safety out of that. Either way, a stop shot, leaving the cue ball frozen to the 9-ball, or a 2-way shot, maybe including a bank. Bank and position on the 5. Yeah, he's trying to bank a 2-way shot, position on the 5 in case it goes, and leaving a hard shot for Albin in case of missing it. But it's a shot for Albin, it's a chance. Very long. And the 5-ball is on the other end of the table. That's... that requires quite some action here. I mean, certainly you don't want to roll into it, or maybe only if you see how some gap to play a safety on the 5 then. So he's maybe trying to play a safety right now, maybe something. Or is he really attempting it? No, very thin, trying to get a safety, but didn't work out at all.
Like most things in this match so far, such a promising start from Ouschan, but it's starting to feel like a long time since he ran out to go 2-0.
Yeah. Not happy so far. Let's see. Stun draw, powerful stun draw for Shane. Trying to get the best of the angle, of the little angle he had, and now he has another one like this. Almost straight on the 5, but the 6-ball on the other end of the table. How much angle does he got? Enough? Or just nothing? Here we can see, so not much of an angle, very hard with this kind of angle. Here he's pointing where he's pointing his cue. That would be the follow position by rolling it basically in, a little bit more than rolling. And then he has at least this long shot on the 6 ball, but this is, I don't know if I call it position or saved. If he ends up where he's pointing at. Of course, you can do always something fancy, right? Like a trick shot, like a warp shot or something, but not in a serious match like that. Or is he something trying? When I see how fast his strokes, practice strokes.
He's really winding up for something big here.
Yeah, he's trying it, but like I said, not enough angle for that. So offensive would be a bank shot. Defensive is also very hard because not many balls left where you can hide the cue ball. And you have to hit the 6 ball very thin if you want to go for a safety, which always you have to take the risk of creating a foul, missing the 6. Or you go full into the 6 ball by trying to sending the 6 down to the other half of the table, but then we must have a closer look here. Here it is. You can also split it and try to keep the 7 ball between those 2 balls by sending the 6 and the cue ball on either long side, long rail. No, not really the outcome he was aiming for.
No, definitely not, and it's a long, long road back from here for Albin Ouschan, but this might be just what he needs to get him started. Nice easy 6, but we always say it, don't we, Ralph? When they're near the pocket and you're travelling a long distance with the cue ball, there's always a limited amount of control you have as to what the cue ball is going to do next, and it's got to travel a long way to get to the 7. But one good shot here, pot the 6, get position on the 7, and he should end his run of 7 losing racks in a row. So this is the key moment. Well, it actually wasn't that near the pocket, as we saw when we went back to the main angle there, so it was perhaps not quite so difficult, but, well, not guaranteed to be on the 8 here, is he?
No, not guaranteed. Follow high right on the cue ball. Still requires quite some accuracy and speed control. Oh, he's drawing it. Is he really drawing it? Into the long rail and out. Yes, that's what he's trying to do. But look at that. I'm sure he don't want to play position for this combination.
No, I think there's no way he was thinking of that. But listen, when you're 7-2 down, you'll take what you can get. And he may have the chance of playing the 8-9 combo.
Right now, I guess he has to. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? He looks disappointed with a shot that's ended up.
Sometimes
maybe.
he even looks disappointed when he got it perfect.
Well, that's
in
it.
hand position.
This is the thing. This is where he might actually win his first rack after losing 7 in a row. He still looked disappointed walking around to it. He'll be a bit less so now. So after losing 7 racks on the spin, Albin Ouschan has won the 10th. He's still got a long way to go to get back into this one, though. It's 7-3. So the first big decision you have to make is who your captain's picks are going to be, as we alluded to earlier, and Matchroom obviously as event promoters will publicise and announce who your selections are. But will you call the players and tell them they're in the team?
Yes, I think that's a proper way to do it, right? To give them a call first, and also if you are not sure in the choice going for this or that player, that you call both of them, right? So that you can make a decision, right? You need to get a commitment from every player as well. And
is that a big thing for you, that you want to speak to a player and sense that he's really going to contribute a lot to the team in every way, that he's going to have the right mindset?
Okay, watch this break. Very important for him. He got the 1 ball. 2 ball as well, so where's the 3 ball? Here he is. He got a shot at it and looks pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's 7-3 now. Obviously, with 7-2 behind, it was looking like a fairly forlorn hope. But it's amazing how quickly you can suddenly find yourself believing again, particularly in this winner breaks format. Even if you get back to 7-4, you think, okay, well, that's a lot more manageable now.
That's the advantage of this winner break format, right? Even though you are far behind, you still see your chances at this stage of a level, right? You still see your chances. You still got hope to turn around the match by just keeping your opponent in the chair or torture him with safeties so that he for a while only has the option to kick at balls or jump. But nice position here. So he got the full control now. Just a little follow, getting the right angle on the next shot on the 5. But you try to bring the cue ball out of the rail for sure. You don't want to end it frozen to the rail, but this is just enough to feel very comfortable.
Talking a lot about the Mosconi, obviously, and he's already done so much in it. Albin Ouschan clinched the winning point on his debut in Las Vegas 8 years ago now, and then was MVP at Alexandra Palace, where we're going this year, the following year. And then didn't win it again for a while because he wasn't on the team in either 17 or 19. Europe obviously lost in 18, but he's been an ever-present for the 3 in a row they've won, starting with the COVID Mosconi in Coventry in 2020.
So you know when he was on the team the last time?
Well, last year. Yeah, so he's played, he came back into the team in 20, and then Europe have obviously, well, they won it back then, reclaimed it, and 3 in a row since he's played in all of them. It's not really been a year that would merit a place on the team this time. As we were saying, he might have to win this tournament to play in another Mosconi this year.
If he wins that tournament, that would certainly be an option.
But he's given himself a chance here in this Hanoi Open. He started off the match by winning 2 racks in a row. He then lost the next 7. But now he's won 2 in a row again, and that was a nice clean one. He'll be breaking at 7-4 behind. So equally so then, going back to what we were talking about, Ralph, at the end of the previous rack, once you have made your decision and you ring a couple of guys and say, well done, you're in the team, are there going to be a few others you'll call as well to let them know that they've missed out and explain to them perhaps why?
Tough question.
Yeah.
Tough question, because those are not the easy calls, right? If you have to do that. But I don't know. Do you think you owe some players some explanation?
Yeah, that's your call, isn't it? That's your call. I know there'll be some people who know that they're in contention. Obviously, you can't call every single player because there are so many of them. There might be some who are quite clearly in the conversation who might feel, rightly or wrongly, that they would like to hear it from you, but obviously that's your call to make. All very exciting the next few weeks, seeing who gets in the teams and then of course how it all goes.
Nice job on the 1 ball and the 2 ball. Oh, another easy one, especially with queuing over the 4 ball here.
Great Mosconi record, as we've just discussed. When you talk about team events, though, I think the one you really associate him with is the World Cup. Along with Mario He, they won it in 2 out of 3 stagings. And in between, they were also in a final in Shanghai, where it took the hosts China to beat them. And the next couple of years of it, they only won a couple of racks in total. Heavy defeats in the first round both times, although one of those was with Max Lechner. Ouschan and he back together for Austria this year, and as I said earlier, went very close to getting to yet another final. Seems to just love that event.
Yeah, those are the powerful three from Austria. Albin Ouschan, Mario He, and Max Lechner. So far, at least, but they have a few more talents also.
They do. It's tough on Lechner, isn't it? Because he's only got to play in the World Cup once. He's better than so many of the players who regularly play in the World Cup, but it's just such a hard team to break into. You hadn't been named Mosconi captain at the time, but as a German, how much did you enjoy watching the great spirit between Josh and Moritz when they got to the final of the World Cup this year?
Oh, I enjoyed that very much. It was, yeah, they teamed up very good. They seemed to have a very good time. So they practiced also. They used to practice together. So that was a, yeah, perfect team spirit there. Just the team spirit from the Philippines was just a touch better at this time.
Well, they just played so well, didn't they?
Yeah. Nice shot. That was clean here on the 3-ball. Very clean. Whew. And now a little low, not low, high left. Not too much. Maybe a tip size or 1.5. Or 2 if you want to go on the short rail with the cue ball. After the long, of course. Let's see. Well, he's no, yeah, 2 rail tip sizes, 2 tip sizes to go directly to the short rail. So, and he has a quite of an angle here. Let's see if it does help him to go from the 5 to the 6. Yeah, I guess he can pass here with the cue ball between the Nineball and the side pocket. I don't know. It's doubtful that the cue ball is going to hit the long cushion before the side pocket. Probably more after, but anyhow, looks for position for the 6th ball in the opposite side pocket, does he? No, he's using more speed. So now he has the option for the corner or the side. But in order to get position on the 7, it's more likely the side pocket now. But he has to slow down the cue ball a bit. So it looks like he's going for a side pocket. And super soft shot. Natural. I guess everything will be fine. Yeah, we could have played it even more soft.
I'm not sure the cue ball has ever finished in a position that didn't cause Albin Ouschan to shake his head. Seems to do it after every shot, no matter what happens.
Oh, he's a perfectionist.
Absolutely,
so
as we were saying earlier, yeah.
It's hard to please him. I guess even when he has ball in hand, he would still...
Ball in hand, Nineball sitting on the lip of a pocket. He's on the hill. Oh, now he's definitely going to shake his head at that one, Ralph. What's going on there?
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, let's have a look at the options here. You see how much spin he used. He needed to spin, but it really catches a lot of speed on the rail. And this was the little miscalculation. So he's not happy with that. Let's, with a head view, we can see some of his options. What kind of options does he have from there? He can make a bank shot with a long shot on the 9 later on. Bank shot.
No.
And
I thought it was just going to miss on the low side, but actually ends up in the heart of the pocket. Now needs another good one on the 9 to make it 3 racks in a row.
Very difficult shot. You have to focus in a moment, step by step. Put quality into your imagination, quality in your aiming, and quality in your stroke. And potting the 9 will be the logical result. Here it is.
Yeah, well done. Albin Ouschan has really made a very different match of this now. He was 7-2 down. He was being completely dominated and outplayed. Outthought as well. But now he's won 3 in a row, and this is right back in the balance. Shane van Boening now leads by 7 racks to 5. It's been around a while as Albin Ouschan. He won his first Euro Tour event all the way back in 2012. You won a Euro Tour event, didn't you, Ralph? Was it in Turkey?
It was in Turkey, but we talk about 1999.
A different century altogether.
Yeah.
So how well did you have to play that week to win it?
Oh, maybe the key was all those years, like for 10 more years, I was always competing against this wall of German players named Ralf Souquet, Oliver Ortmann, and a few more, right? And I just couldn't pass them. So after a while I was kind of giving up. So I didn't have any expectations when going to that tournament, and suddenly, without having those expectations, I won it.
Funny how often it works that way, isn't it? As I recall, there were a lot of German players did well in that tournament, and I think Alex Lely had a good run in it as well.
Yeah.
Lely, of course, your predecessor as captain. Now, how has this finished for Ouschan?
Yeah. Well, before Alex Lely became #1 in Europe, I was #1, right, after that. But he was first as the Mosconi Cup captain.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty happy that I got the chance now. So, oh, look at that. Ending up hidden behind that 3-ball. That's when everything is that near, it's hard even to find a nice spot for a push shot here. Maybe you can roll it towards the 4-ball, or where he's pointing his cue at. That's obviously a position he's checking, right? Rolling it into the 4-ball might be a little bit too offensive, right? You offer a clear shot on the 2. That's a little bit too offensive for a player like Shane. So he's going to push it near the long rail. Oh, even to the short rail, giving him a long distance. Doesn't look like he has a chance to pot it, but certainly some defensive options here, but certainly nothing high percentage, otherwise Albin wouldn't have chosen that spot. So let's see the options from Shane here. Well, you can go pretty much straight into the 2-ball, try to passing it over 1 rail on the 3-ball, keeping the cue ball downwards, behind the 8, near behind the 8, with a 6, or a little bit softer. Just let's see. That's interesting. He was using a little bit more force and sending the cue ball on, he wanted to hit the 8 ball and keep the cue ball down where it is. Nice idea, nice execution. You always can learn something from Shane from Boening here. And this is most likely another jump shot for Albin Ouschan. Full table length. Concentrate on the 2. Position on the 3 is almost automatic using a soft rolling in shot. Yeah, he got the speed right, missing it, but I don't know if he's lucky again here. But I guess Shane can see the left part of the 2 ball. And if he can, then he will create a safety out of that. Probably by sending the cue ball behind the 5 and 8 ball there. Just missed it barely behind the 5. Instead he's on the other side of the 5, offering a shot to Albin. Not the easy one though. It is super thin cut in the side, or more preferably into the corner, but then softly, otherwise you might scratch into the side. Or draw, nice draw for the 3, yeah. I was thinking about the 4, but there's still the 3 ball. So, in my opinion, it's the corner. Using a little bit more than a stop shot, like a little draw, bringing the cue ball back over the long rail towards the 7. Not easy though. Is he going for that or something else? Yeah, in the corner, but he was drawing more, even more. Getting position behind the 3. That's nice.
I was talking earlier about Ouschan and the way it's been his most disappointing year for some time, and I would expect he'll have come into this match thinking this is a chance for him to really kick things into gear again if he could claim a win over Shane Van Boening in a big event in front of the cameras, and that chance looked to be slipping away from him. Now, if he wins the match having been 7-2 down, it could really be the start of turning everything back around for him again career-wise.
That's right. Players used to have moments like that sometimes, some turning points. Maybe we can witness one of these points right now, but that's early to say, too early to say, right? Let's see how he's going to maneuver himself through this rack. With the angle he got now on the 4. Let's have a look. Yeah, cue ball naturally would go towards the side pocket, but still safe if hitting it the rail before. Pretty much straight on the 5, so he can draw it back pretty much straight for a position on the 6. Even though he shows he's not happy with the position, like always. Because he needs a little extension on his cue.
Even there, as he's walking back to the table, he put the extension on, there's still a mini head shake. Well, who would have thought this about half an hour ago? Shane Van Boening had won 7 racks in a row. And here's Albin Ouschan at the table with a great chance to get back to only 1 behind.
You really see he's aiming with his left eye.
Nowhere near though as dominant an eye as Neil's fighting. That's just incredible what he does.
Oh,
the
really?
cue is
Yes.
just so far away from his head.
Okay, he overdrawed it a little, too much. But I guess the tangent line, you can see, will let the cue ball pass bare away from the 9-ball into the long cushion and out for a position on the 7, maybe also in the side on the long corner. Here it is, exactly. He wanted a little bit more speed here for a shot in the other corner or in the side, but I guess he's still fine with this corner. In our screen, the upper left, and then he can draw the cue ball to the long rail, back out about where the 7-ball is now. Oh, missing that. I didn't expect that here. But I tell you what, here he's still lucky with this outcome.
Yeah, definitely. We were saying things just starting to fall his way when he needs them to at the moment. What he really needed to fall, of course, was the 7-ball itself. So this could potentially be the moment when Van Boening halts Ouschan's momentum.
Let's see his options. Safety battles are a little bit shorter at the end part of the game, right, than in the beginning. They guess he can hide the cue ball behind the 8. Can he? Almost. But offering a way more difficult shot for Albin than the shot he just missed. I can't see now if he can roll it or if he can stum it. No. Stun it and missed it. And another interesting outcome here. Well, of course you see the obvious bank shot, but it's not obvious to take that shot as long as you still have this nice safety opportunity here by rolling a little bit softer into the 7, using a lot of left side spin, trying to keep the cue ball behind the 8, and maybe sending the 7 ball not all the way up to the other side, but maybe near the upper long cushion. Let's see. Oh, he's going for the bank.
Oh, wow. Now, what's he got here, though? Can he play the carom 8 into the 9? Is the angle right for that?
I guess he can. But anyhow, this excellent bank shot is not rewarded, actually. Not yet. Yeah, he's going for the carom.
So he's lost the last 3 racks. He's lost his firm grip on the match.
And he made it.
When it looked as though his lead might be reduced to a single rack, Ouschan has let him back in. Shane van Boening, classic bank on the 7, plays the carom off the 8 into the 9, and all of a sudden he's only 2 racks away from a last 16 clash with Alexander Kazakis. If that does happen, of course, well, they've got all sorts of history, haven't they? You think of the World Masters final where Kazakis beat him 9-0. They've met in a World Championship quarter-final, a World Championship semi-final, the year Van Boening won it. They had a turning stone final against each other along the way as well. And of course it was Kazakis who beat Van Boening in the last 64 of the US Open last year when he was trying to complete that rare double of the World and US Open titles within the same calendar year in 2022. But that is all to come tomorrow, and only if Shane van Boening can get another couple of racks on the board. But he's got the initiative back here. Van Boening leading 8-5. Straight into it again.
Here comes the break. 1 ball in the side, cue ball, 2 ball. How about that? He got a shot, Looks pretty open, but he needs a good position on the 3 now.
Great finisher of matches, Van Boening. When he gets close to winning them, he's so good at finishing it off. Wasn't the case against Kyle Amoroto yesterday, of course. Was 8-6 up, and even after it had gone hill, he should have won the decider, but scratched in pot of the 7 and handed Amoroto an easy 8 and 9 to finish it off. But generally, when the winning line comes into view, it seems to almost lift him to yet another higher level.
With all the results you have in your list or in your head, I mean, or in your mind, you can really become a very good bookmaker here.
I think I'm too cautious for that business.
Okay, nice position, and just a little stun for the 4 ball. Getting the perfect angle from a little bit too hard though, or whatever he wanted, maybe not hard enough if he wanted to go for the other angle. However, he's now right in between, so I'm not very satisfied with that position, but still in favor of that game here. Going to the upper right corner, using a lot of right side spin to get the cue ball back near the center for the 5, but missing the 4 ball.
Well, we've seen big swings in momentum in this match. Ouschan had a mini one at the start when he looked very bright on the way to a 2-0 lead. Then Van Boening 7 in a row, Ouschan 3 in a row. Van Boening has just won the previous rack there, but maybe it's going to be different now and it'll be more even exchanges as we head towards the finish line here, because Ouschan has a chance to respond to losing the last rack by taking this one.
Well, it's an unexpected opportunity for him, and as always shaking his head here because the angle is not enough angle to go to stun it into the rail and out, and too much of an angle just to draw it back. So yeah, might draw it on the other side of the 6th ball, the short side of the 6th ball, where he has to go, to shoot the 6 maybe into one of the pockets on the right side of our screen. Oh, it still looks like a stun, huh? Now he's going more for a draw. Yeah. Drawing on that side of the 6, because there he has wide variety. He can shoot it into, either way the side if it would have been softer, or now the corner pocket. And just drawing back for the 7. Enough of an angle to go out. Either way, high left, preferably.
It's almost 10.5 hours since today's play began here in Hanoi, but a sizable portion of the crowd have stayed for this absolute treat that we're witnessing here right at the end of the day. The last place in the last 16 up for grabs, and it's still so hard to say who's going to get it. Albin Ouschan has responded to going 3 behind once again by taking that one to close to 8-6. There's some really good news. The first match on the main table tomorrow will be Federer Gorst versus Ko Pin-Yi. What a way that's going to be to start our weekend. Got to ask you about the Federer Gorst situation and your take on it with the switching of sides and declaring for the United States this week.
Well, I have to accept that. I mean, first of all, he was considered like a neutral flag because he couldn't go for the Russian flag, and because of the warm welcome the Americans gave him, and he felt very well, right? I don't blame him for wishing to play for Team America rather than Team Europe, and because he is considered like a neutral flag, okay, they gave him the choice, right? And if he wishes to go for Team America, then it's okay for me, because how can I deal with a player being on my side of the team, right, or be forced to be on the Team Europe but wishing to play for Team America? It's hard to deal with that, right? So I have to accept that. I have to respect the decision here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge.
I think he is on the road to full US citizenship somewhere along the way, but in the meantime, I do think it was very important that if he was going to play for the US in the Mosconi Cup, that from the moment that was announced, he would have to start appearing on tournament draws with the American flag alongside him, and that's what's happening. And I think it would have been very strange if he'd played for the US in the Mosconi Cup and then would gone into the first big tournament of 2024 and he was back to being listed as ANA again. So I think it's right and proper that he is going to be referred to as Federer Gorst USA all the time.
it needed certainly a special rule, right? Of course, there are other players living in the States before, but they never had this special case with the Russian-Ukraine conflict, right? And this creates this very strange possibility.
We were talking about tennis back in the 1980s a little earlier this evening, Ralph, and of course at that time Martina Navratilova was the famous case, wasn't she? Because Czechoslovakia, which no longer exists, but which did then, and was a communist country, that was where she was from, and she defected to the United States, and from that day on she was always seen as American and speaks basically with an American accent nowadays. Fedor Gorst, I guess, is the pool equivalent of that, and we'll see him playing for the US as they try to deny your European team what will be a fourth straight win. So, just looking across there, it looks as though both players have taken a bit of a break. Probably a good juncture at which to do so.
We can discuss tomorrow's matches.
Yeah, well, let's do that actually. And what about that match between Gorst and Copigny, winner of the World Masters earlier in the year? That's going to be a great way to start the last 16.
I would guess in this match, it's a close match. It's a exciting match, but I guess the momentum is, especially with the crowd he creates here, the momentum is puts Fedor in the favorite role. Wouldn't you think so?
I would think so. I mean, at the moment he's really up there as arguably the best player in the world on his form over the last few months. And Ko Ping Chung, who might be in that conversation as well, he plays Max Lechner.
This is a chance for Max Lechner, right, to come a little bit more into the spotlight by winning against the reigning US Open champion. But Ko Ping Chung is the favorite in that match.
Definitely.
I would guess so.
And another match that really jumps out for me is Lucius Yap against Kyle Amoroto. I'm really excited about Amoroto. He's great to watch. He's got a good bit of personality about him, and of course he's beaten Van Boening. So
he's from the
Philippines.
We have so many. How many Philippines are left in the last 16?
Well, only 3 of them left now. There were 14 at the start of the day. A few of them did play each other. But even 3 in the last 16 is hard to get. Will there be 2 Austrians? One already there. Albin Ouschan has hopes of joining his pal Max Lechner.
Okay, he got the 1 ball under control and he got the position on the 2 ball. You see the break. 1 ball was nice. Cue ball all around the table for a straight shot on the 2 ball, but looks like the 3 ball is blocked for the corner, but maybe free for the side pocket. Let's have a look at the layout. Let's have a look at the possibilities, the choices here from Albin. Here we go. Yeah, blocked for the corner, but the side pocket is... Oh, that would be hard. He would rather prefer for positioning for a combination, maybe on the 7, maybe. You see, it's not a high percentage shot, but he doesn't have much of an angle to create something out of that. Maybe he's doubting that. But he's looking at the combination after that. When I see the watches here from the players, I guess the big brands, they could make better advertisement here than in golf, right? Because it's way better to see
the
here.
watch is sponsored, yeah. Well, you won't be surprised to hear the first man to think of that was Barry Hearn with his snooker players that he was managing back in the 1980s. He thought of that. He thought, well, you see the watch so often, so he started negotiating watch deals for his players.
Yeah. And they are still buying those watches, right? The golfers just take it as a present nowadays.
Yeah.
So... Nicely done. But, bad luck here. I wouldn't say bad luck, but unfortunate a little bit that that he's blocked now by the 9-ball. So what to do here? He can cut a little bit, but he's checking if the 3-ball is frozen to the rail. Imagine if it's not frozen, he might just roll into the 3-ball, right? But if it's frozen, it's not an option, otherwise it would be a foul. But I don't know if it's frozen or not, and he has certainly something else in mind. If he can hit it full, he can make a stop shot and keep the cue ball behind the 9 and sending the 3-ball out, hopefully passing the 6. Like this. Behind the 9, passing the 6. That's nice. Hard to kick at that.
Now, at this stage of the game, it's Van Boening who finds himself regularly walking to the table to face a conundrum.
I mean, he might easily kick at it, but it's hard to get a resave out of that because I don't see. Let's see. Does he has also the option of the short rail or only the long rail? Yeah, it's a long rail only. Maybe he can maneuver the cue ball behind the 6. Tried to. And he was hitting it hard enough to send it down the other part of the table, which creates at least a long shot here. But it's a shot for Albin. It's a shot. And he has a high percentage of making it and getting position on the 4. By just rolling it, maybe with a little tip size of right, not even necessary to bring it back near the center of the table. And when I say tip size, then it's always like a little measurement, right? Like a reference line, like a reference in, yeah, 1 tip size equals 1 diamond of the natural line on a half table length. So that's the way you can judge the amount of side spin. If you have references like that, it helps you in situations when you don't trust your feeling alone, right?
When it went to 3-2, it was the first time in the match that Ouschan had trailed. It's also the last time that he was only 1 rack in arrears. It could be about to change here.
Yeah, this looks like the 8-7 is very near at hand for Albin Ouschan. And then the whole match is wide open with himself on the break. Stun or follow stun? Probably follow stun. Into the long cushion, 48.
Looks fairly certain to be 8-7 now. Shane Van Boening just started getting the racks ticking away one after another against Albin Ouschan in the World Final last year. The Austrian just wasn't able to turn it back round, but this has turned into a very different story. Ouschan has now won 5 of the last 6 racks. Remarkably, be breaking in the next one with a chance to draw level. Who do you fancy then at this stage to win the whole thing based on what you've seen throughout the week, Ralph? So many to choose from, but who would be your pick going into the weekend?
Well, I would go either way for Jason Shaw or Fedor Gorst.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Gorst obviously been in such good form, but Shaw's looked good, hasn't he, this week?
Well, it's in the recent time, in the recent months, I see his game developing a little bit. It's like, it's like he's resharpening himself. He's more composed than in earlier years, and I think it's like a little awakening of the eagle eye. Maybe he's coming back with big title in the near future.
Albin Ouschan's won quite a few big titles himself. He's still right in contention for this one. Back to only 8-7 down as he looks for a last 16 spot.
One ball is in the side pocket as usual. And he got a first-class shot here on the 2-ball with the 3-ball nearby.
Well, it was hard to see Van Boening losing this match from 7-2 up, but given that Ouschan is back to only 1 behind, he's got all the momentum, he's made a nice break there and he's on the 2. I think at best you'd say it's 50-50 for Van Boening now, and a strong argument perhaps to even make Ouschan at this stage already a slight favourite.
But as a player, you don't even think about that. You just think ball by ball, step by step, and eventually winning or not is just the logical result of the quality you put on the table here. So playing the 3-ball, stunning it into the long rail, not too much draw, not too much spin. You try to avoid the contact with the 9-ball, bringing the cue ball back, not exactly in the center, but near the center for the 4, and then it's pretty much wide open. Yeah, just passing the 9-ball. That's an excellent position. And now with this shot, I guess it's straight enough to just drawing it back. Passing the center line for a comfortable position on the 5. Here it is, passing the center line, and very comfortable. Maybe he was wishing a little bit for more of an angle, but that's criticism on high level here. Again, center table where he wanted to go with this 646 ball, and from there Knight has to stun it. It's a pure step shot with the right speed to go right between the 8 and the 7.
So a great turnaround yesterday achieved by Anton Raga, 8-1 down to Billy Thorpe. Ended up winning by 9 racks to 8. Although Ouschan was never in quite as difficult a situation in terms of the scoreline as Raga, and you consider who he's playing here and the fact that it's at a more advanced stage of the tournament, and given that Ouschan is looking to get his career back on the rails here, this would perhaps be an even more notable turnaround.
Shane van Boening still looking disbelief here. But this very most likely looks like the 8-8 with the cue ball a little bit out of the rail for a comfortable shot on the 8.
Well, the last time these two were all square was at 2-all. "12 racks later, they're finally level again, and that is now 3 in a row for Albin Ouschan.
So it's a race to 3 left.
Well, 2. It's 8-all now.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You're getting ahead of yourself, Ralph. The semi-finals are a race to 11, and that's not till Sunday morning. Yeah, we look again here at the key moments. You think back, of course, when you're talking about great recoveries and turnarounds we've seen in recent years, to Van Boening himself, 10-3 down. That was a race to 11 on another Friday night in Milton Keynes last year against Mika Ivalin. He ended up winning 11-10, and that got him into the last 16 of the World Championship, and 48 hours later he was champion of the world at last. So we see it so often, don't we? Someone has a big turnaround in a match that they look like losing, and it just kicks them on from there all the way to the title. That's what Ouschan will be dreaming of if he can get past this.
Well, he's the favor now because he got a break, and he's very consistent with the 1 ball. So maybe. And I guess he has a little bit more than a 50% chance to get a position on the 2, wherever it is placed in the pack. Oh, it's in the back. 2 ball in the back is hard to predict, but most likely it goes to the other half of the table. Let's see. No, it got blocked, and he missed the 1, and he scratched.
Well, the 1 did go in eventually, but it's no good to him now. So, what has he left here now for the American? And is this going to be yet another turning point towards the end of this truly absorbing last 32 encounter?
Hitting the whole reg a little bit too thin. And yeah, that it is. Even though you have the whole match, you have a nice break, right? And sometimes if it just didn't work in the right moment, what can you do? Happened also to me at one time in a final in Spain against, and I was breaking all tournament very good, and at 8-8 race to 9 I was just scratching on the break. However, so at least the 2-9 combination is blocked by the 3 ball, no, by the 7 ball, so he has to go or something like that. 2-6 combination. I wonder why he's not playing a safety, because he can really freeze him up behind this with the cue ball behind the 7. Ouschan is making a sign to the referee to have a close look here.
Which is fair enough, I think, for a player to say that.
Sure. I would try to get a whole army of referees watching it. But he might still rethink that, because it's not easy to go for that. Even with ball in hand, it's not easy to go for that combination. Especially with elevating the cue over the 3. Oh, he made it, but yeah, cheating the pocket a little bit too much, which causes the 2 ball going towards the short rail. I guess not makeable in a direct ray from that position, so he's trying to look for safety. Let's see what kind of options does he has. He can, where he's pointing the cue, that's where he's like to get the cue ball while sending the 2 ball maybe near where the chalk is now. Or is he still maybe going for the bank? Still thinking about that. Temptive. But no, it's most likely the safety. But different versions. You can send a 2 ball maybe all the way down to the other half of the table, trying to keep the cue ball. But you can also use less power. And just make sure to have this bunch of 4 balls here, 8, 9, 7, 3 in the way. He's using more power, sending it to the other half of the table and keeping the bunch of 4 balls in between. So this looks like a natural jump shot for Albin Ouschan.
Yeah, he's played quite a few of those in the match. Some successful, at least one was truly spectacular, but he's missed a few as well.
So if you ever enter a professional tournament like that, don't forget your jump cue.
I'm sure it's happened, hasn't it, that players have gone out there. I've never seen it, but it must have happened that someone's gone early in the match, okay, I'll play my jump shot, and then they realise they've left it behind.
This knocks my socks off. I mean, such a nice jump and a draw for positioning on the 3.
Has he drawn it too much, though? We'll see in a moment. He really got stuck into it.
Really?
Well, we'll see in a moment. I'm not sure at all, but...
Here comes the draw. Nice.
Yeah. So he keeps going and going. Now, does this end up where the 8 is blocking him? No, actually, from that angle... yeah, I think he's...
Stop.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he's okay.
Yeah. So with this shot on the 3, he might have even enough angle to go all the way down to the short, to the head cushion, or draw it. It looks like he's all the way, let the cue ball follow, all the way down to the head cushion. With a little bit of left side spin. Not enough though, a little bit more left side for a more comfortable position on the 4. This is not an easy 4, but still you can expect him not only to make it, but also the main target would be when playing the 4 ball is to avoid the scratch into the side pocket with the cue ball. So either way, using just a touch of maybe a half tip size right to hit the rail on the left from the side pocket, or using like more than 2 tip size and a little draw to go miss the side pocket on the right side for an even better position on the 5. Let's see what he's choosing here. Low maximum right or just a touch of right? Looks like low maximum. It's not easy to pass that side pocket. Here it is. Nice. Never happy with the position. If I would have ball in hand, I would probably place it there, and he's not happy with it.
Continuing that theme we talked about earlier. Never happy. Ecstatic when he wins. He does some great intense celebrations, but everything that leads up to that, he just seems to find fault with everything he does and everything that comes his way.
Okay, either way, drawing it straight back, probably. Yeah, here it is. That's fairly enough good position here for the 7. Letting it follow into the long cushion, back out near the center for position on the 8. Maybe a tip size of left. Here we go.
Well, about an hour ago, when Shane van Boening extended his lead to 7-2, it would have seemed so unlikely that Albin Ouschan would end up winning this match.
Absolutely, especially not after missing the 7 ball, remember?
Yes, but perhaps even more unlikely that he'd be first to the hill, because there's less room for manoeuvre in getting to 9 than there is in getting to 10. And yet, here we are. When Ouschan eventually get down, plays us. And Albin Ouschan hits the front at 9 racks to 8. He's won 7 of the last 8 now. He's basically doing, to Shane Van Boening, what Van Boening did to him for so long earlier in the contest. And of course, when you're first to the hill, you get to break on the hill.
And maybe, yeah, we saw the momentum, how the match turned around, but maybe we can also witness now the momentum, how he can turn around the bad rolls he had the whole year, right?
This is what we were saying, everything could change for him here now. He's been struggling to beat players, and he's lost to some guys who you wouldn't expect him to get beaten by at all. Now he's got a chance to take down one of the very best there's ever been, and there may be nothing more Van Boening can even do about it at this stage.
Yeah, you got a nice view on our arena here in Hanoi. And with the last table here in charge.
Yeah, it must be about an hour and a quarter, maybe more than that, since the last of the other matches was finished. It's all down to this one. Albin Ouschan then, unbelievably, breaking for the match.
This time he got the 1. And does he have a shot on a 2? Huh. Look at that. A direct shot on it, a direct pot on a 2 is most likely not gonna happen. But he has to look here for his safety options. I don't expect him to shoot really hard into the 2, sending it into the 9-ball and hoping for something. Right? That's not professional, so maybe trying to hide the cue ball behind the 8. That's nearby. Let's have a look. Oh, this looks like still makeable as a thin cut into the corner. You can cut it in the corner and maybe get a position on the 3-7 combination. Yes, he did exactly that, and what a nice execution and a nice position on the combination. You got even the perfect angle on it, because with the stop shot from there you can probably, the 3-ball comes out a little bit, just enough angle to go to the other side where the 4-ball is. Yeah. And this is actually the key shot for the game and for the match then. It is.
Well, they're all there for him now.
Not the angle he was wishing for. It's almost none of an angle. But still, even though he plays a stop shot, he got a high percentage shot on the 4. Not that comfortable, but he's absolute in favor for this game and match now. Let's see if he's trying something fancy with the cue ball or just leave it nearby where it is. Still calculating his options. Something fancy, something powerful, or just a little bit softer, letting it near where it is. Yeah, something softer, just accept a easy position here with a more difficult shot on the 4, but still you're in favor to make that, including position on the 5. Just because you are 2 times world champion.
Really, if this shot goes well, it's hard to see anything other than him running out from here.
Oh, missing it. Oh man, that hurts.
It turned out to be a big if, didn't it? Okay, so Shane Van Boening has got one last chance in a match that he looked the winner all over
Okay.
an hour ago.
It was a difficult shot.
Sure.
No doubt about it, but you expect him to make that, especially in this moment. But, wow. Now a good opportunity. Oh, look at the funny angle he got here. This needs a closer checkup also from the great Shane Van Boening to calculate his options here. What is it? Banking, cutting, safety, cutting. Looks like a cut into the side because the cue ball goes almost naturally 3-rail into position. Here it is, even with a little help of the 6.
I think we're going all the way here, Ralph.
Yeah.
Of course, we talk about the break. Ouschan had us, having got to the hill first, but if we do go to a hill finish, it will be Van Boening, one of the greatest breakers of the balls we've ever seen.
Absolutely.
We'll start off the last rack.
And he had also very nice control over the 1 ball in the past breaks. But we are already talking about the breaks still. 3 balls remaining here. 3 more balls to concentrate and focus on. Look at the cue ball, look at the cue ball.
Not. Surely not!
No way! No way!
It had just enough gas in the tank to get there, and it's probably taken the air out of the tyres of Shane Van Boening's Hanoi Open journey.
Wow, ball in hand, 2 more balls. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
I think we can say that. And so similar to the way his match against Kyle Amoroso finished yesterday. Yes, that was a hill finish, but still the same. 3 balls left on the table. Scratches, leaves a simple 8 and 9 for, in this case, Albin Ouschan to close it out. He's already taken care of the 8. This then to complete one of the most remarkable turnarounds we've ever seen in a big tournament between 2 of the greats of the game. Shane Van Boening was in total control at 7-2. Incredibly, he won only 1 further rack. Albin Ouschan is the winner by 10 racks to 8. And the good news for you, Ralph, is it means exactly half of the final 16 in this Hanoi Open are European players, with 3 all-European clashes in the last 16 tomorrow, including Albin Ouschan's match against Alexander Kazakis, who, if he was watching it, must have been starting to mentally prepare himself for another showdown with Shane Van Boening. It's going to happen now because Albin Ouschan has produced probably the story of this tournament so far, defeating the great Shane Van Boening from 7-2 down. He's the winner by 10 racks to 8. He will be here for the weekend. And this weekend, which starts with an absolute cracker, Fedor Gorst, very much the man in form, US Open runner, and he will be taking on another very experienced player, this year's World Masters champion, Albin in the first match of the weekend as we move into the final 16 tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed it on this Friday in Hanoi. If you haven't, I don't think you'll like Nineball pool because we've seen so much to get excited about, including a real treat at the end of the day, especially